Jacksonville Jaguars, Doug Pederson is standing by with our Brian Baldinger.
Thanks, Patrick. And so, Coach, welcome here to the NFL Network, to Inside Training Camp.
Yes.
We just watched a really spirited practice out here today, Doug. You went through a lot, 2.5 hours in the soup here of Jacksonville. What did you see today? Second straight day in pads. Couple little, brush ups, but nothing where you had to jump in there and.
Yeah, listen. I'm not. I'm too old to jump in there and break up some of these scuffles you get, and it's part of training camp, right? I mean, you're out here in the heat. The pads are on. It's only the second day in pads, but. I think yesterday, went to the offense. Today might have tilted a little bit more defensive way, but that's just the way. It's the ebb and flow of training camp, and I love to see the competition. I'm not into the pushing and shoving. We still got to protect each other and all that, but we had some really good periods today out here with the pads on, and good physicality is what I want to see, and protecting our players.
Your job, Doug, every year is to start at square one with the basics. And I'm just looking at the fundamentals and the basics. And, you can't get enough of that time in right now just to build not just calluses for getting ready for the season, but the fundamentals and the toolbox that each position has to have.
You're absolutely right. And no matter if it's a 9-year vet or a rookie, we got to teach them all the same. And we got to develop these young players to get ready to play. Because, as you know, in this league, with the amount of games that we're now playing, I think you're playing your first-year guys, you're playing your rookies, you're playing your free agents. You can't redshirt guys anymore or shelf a guy anymore. And so for us, it's about teaching, and it is about developing the entire roster, because you're going to elevate a practice squad player during the course of the year, and he's got to be ready to go. So it is back to the basics. It's back to the fundamentals, teaching. We're defensively, we're teaching guys how to get in stances, into three-point stances. Yeah. And I think that's part of the fundamental of getting off on the football.
I watched some blocking drills from a 4-point stance and just exploding like the old days, Doug. I was like, wow. Doug,
flashback,
half-line drills, and I'm like, okay, he's dusting all this stuff off. I guess we need to talk about Trevor, because I asked him. He was sitting here a little while ago, Doug, and I go, is the best part of the contract when it's done and it's just signed, where you can just put it all behind you, and now we get to just go play? Do you feel like that's what you're getting from Trevor right now?
I do. I feel like that is a big burden, a big weight lifted off of his shoulders. Just happy for him and his family, obviously, and happy for the organization. To get Trevor inked and to get him here now long term, and in this league, as you know, you need a quarterback. You need that guy behind center, not only who can pull the trigger in big moments, but who can lead your football team, and that's who Trevor is.
Yeah.
And he's going into year 4, year 3 with us, and we're starting to see that maturity and that level of leadership that you need from your starter.
What I see, Doug, is, and you see it every day, but I see a guy who's really comfortable, super happy and really proud to lead, and thankful for what Mr. Khan had done and what he's done. But I feel like there's a confidence that permeates from him, and it goes through the whole team right now.
You're absolutely right, and he's mature above his years. He's a young football player in this league, but very mature. And having that leadership and having that contract done, and just watching him with the guys, and really how he not only leads offensively, but I think he leads this football team, and that's that calm and that present that you want from your quarterback, and because that's going to happen in a game when things get kind of crazy out there. You want somebody that's going to be calm, keep things kind of under control, and Trevor's that guy.
I feel like he's part of what can allow him this year to take another step is the offensive line. You've got better depth this year. You bring in Mitch Morse to play center. Anton Harrison at right tackle is in his second year. He looks a lot better already right now, Doug.
Yeah, he's a good young player. It's the reason why we drafted him a year ago. We re-signed Ezra Cleveland, to come back as a guard for us. Mitch, free agency. Cam, even Walker Little. Walker Little's a guy who can play both tackles. He can play either side, and you got to have those big bodies in today's game. It's just like the quarterback position. But, I think that having the depth, the ability to run the football, we got to get back to doing that a little bit better this year. We struggled there last year, and we know that. And so, having the depth in the offensive line is going to help. So
the weapons right now, I thought that when Christian Kirk went down last year, I thought it really affected it wasn't all Christian Kirk, but he was such an integral part of big plays, of staying on schedule, converting third downs. When he went down, you lost that. There was a little bit of a void. But he's back healthy. Brian Thomas Jr., Gabe Davis. Like, there's some new guys out there right now.
There are some new guys, and you're absolutely right. We lost Christian for the last 5 games of the regular season, and then, Zay Jones was injured and hobbling, and Calvin Ridley was our only healthy guy. And so it was a struggle for us in the passing game, and one guy can't do it himself. But this year went out and we got Gabe, and we drafted Brian Thomas. As you mentioned, Christian coming back healthy. Those are all the pieces that we have to build around Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne. We got to build around Trevor and our quarterback, and really get him comfortable to know where those guys are going to be, and then Trevor's job obviously is to deliver the football.
You made a change at defensive coordinator this year. Ryan comes in. What can we expect? The style. It looks like it's going to be a big 4-man front. You're going to allow Trayvon and Josh to really get after the quarterback right now and maybe press on the outside a little bit more with your corners.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're seeing, during the spring and early days of camp, and kind of reminds me of back in Philly with Jim Schwartz. You saw some, not that we're playing a wide 9, but you're seeing more of that 4-man front. You're seeing a lot more rotational guys. 8 or 9 guys that are rotating to stay healthy. Corners are going to challenge a little bit more, and I think that's something that fits Tyson Campbell, young corner for us, and just looking for it's a little more simplistic, I think, for our guys to just line up and play more shell defense, and then everything rotates from there. So we're in the kind of the basic teaching parts of the defense, but I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
I think everybody in Duval is right here, Doug. I want to thank you for joining us here today on the NFL Network, and really best of luck to you all season long.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You got it.